Hello, we're back for another edition of Tactical Thursday. And today we're in the office and making use of the Soccer Innovations Board and going to talk a little bit about overloads. So, overloads, most people feel, or most people think that it's just about new numbers, like being numbers in one place and having more numbers than your opponent. That's usually your numerical superiority, and that's great. But you can also think about it in some other ways. You can think it as qualitative. So maybe you've got better people in better areas that will end up being an overload for you. Or positionally, maybe you're outnumbering your opponents in a certain area. Maybe you're playing 4 in the midfield, like in a diamond, and the other team's playing 3 in the midfield. Cooperative and dynamic or other ones. If you've got more pace, or if you've got a faster player in a 1v1, that can make an overload kind of scenario. Or cooperative, if you're able to play quicker with each other in certain spaces, like in a combination with a forward and an outside and an attacking mid, or an attacking mid and outside winger. There's a lot of different ways you can do that as far as trying to be cooperative. But we're really going to talk about creating overloads numerically. So we've got the red team kind of set up here in a 4-3-3, playing against the blue team in a 4-3-3. The reds are playing with 2 attacking mids. The blues are playing with 2 holders, or 2 defensive mids, if you want to call them that. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you can kind of create an overload in the back. And you can talk a little bit about we're going to start with a goal kick. So maybe we'll start with a goal kick with our 2 center backs here. And what we want to do is try and create space so we can create some overload, so we've got some spaces to break lines. So that's really kind of our objective. And the line, if the red team's going this direction, this is the line we want to break. We want to break the goal line. That's our ultimate objective. And how do we do that? More often than not, to be able to break that goal line is breaking the line of the backs and getting the ball between or behind the center backs. Or behind the outside backs is easiest. If we can break that line, that's going to lead us to breaking that line. And progressively, it just kind of works back. So here's a line here, the 2 holding mids here. Here's a line here, the attacking mid. Here's the front line here of the blue forwards. So how can we create overloads to make this happen? So let's talk about a goal kick. So if we're in this scenario, how can we create some scenarios for us that's going to make it easier to break this line? All right. So for me, what I'm going to do here, if I'm the red team, is I'm going to what we call pin players back. So I'm going to go as high as I can to make this player decide, am I going to mark her or am I just going to leave her? So I really want to make this player make that decision. Same thing here. Maybe I just want to get as high as I possibly can get to draw her away, to pin her back. So as the red players, I'm doing that. And I'm probably going to do that as an attacking mid here too, an attacking mid here too. 9 times out of 10, you're going to find these blue players drop back in. If they don't drop as deep, maybe I'm just going to hide in behind their shoulders so they can't see me and the ball at the same time. But 9 times out of 10, if you step up, that person, I've got to mark her, then she's going to drop with you. So how do we can create some more space here by taking our outside backs and putting them up high and wide, high as we can go. Again, we have to read this player to see what she's going to do. If she's going to just kind of step in here, maybe I'm just going to get myself a little bit wider so she can't see me and the ball at the same time. But again, most times you're going to have the players go ahead and drop in if you're going to step up higher. Now the holding mid here, now she's got to decide, how high can I take this player? That's what I really want to do. How far can we drag this player? If we can drag her here, now look what we've done. We've created a 3v1. And this 3v1, we want to do is break this first line. And the easiest way for us to do that, in my opinion, is play the ball here to the goalkeeper and make this player make a decision. This player stays. That's going to allow the backs to get a little bit higher, forming a really nice triangle and making this player make a choice. If this player drops, then maybe we're just going to take a little bit more space and we're all just going to step up a little bit. All right. If this player decides to come hard, as we're in this position, decides to hard and press, then it should be, if we got on the right foot, pretty easy pass in here to this player's right foot. If she kind of forces from this side, maybe we get on our left, we're going to play this player's left foot. So we've got a little bit more space to step up. All right, maybe she's going to try and be a little slick about it, and instead of coming in and pressing here, maybe she's going to try and take this away first. All right, and if she does that, it's pretty easy for us to play out this side. Or maybe she's going to play it a little tactical, and she's going to force, and she's just going to hang out here. And if she does that, we don't want to oblige her by playing this ball too quickly. We want to get ourselves halfway. So halfway in between here, get ourselves here, halfway. So it's just as hard for this person to come press me as it is this one to come press me, if that makes sense when this ball gets passed. So hopefully that gives us an idea of how we want to do that. So what we're doing now, we're incorporating the goalkeeper to give us a 3v1 to try and break the line. So that would be an overload. Another way teams can do this is sometimes you'll see teams have these outside backs step maybe even a little bit higher, and sometimes teams will have this holding mid drop in to create a situation kind of like this. Now this forward's got to decide, okay, if we pass the ball to the holding mid, now it's kind of the same scenario, except now it's a 3v2. All right, that's why we like to push this holding mid a little bit higher and allow her to check in for the ball when it needs to happen. We'll play her a little bit higher here because we think this 3v1 is a little bit easier and a bit clearer to solve, if that makes sense. So that's, as we progress through, then it's like, how do we get the ball in behind to play in here? It's going to be about choices. We're going to read what this player does. This player steps here. We play it out to her left. Now we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we've got an overload. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take the ball. If we can play the ball, remember our progressions. If she can score, she's going to try and finish. If she can't finish, can she pass to someone can finish? Now we're in a scenario that maybe we can play a ball in behind. Maybe we can play a ball in behind. If we can't play a ball in behind, maybe we go ahead and try and see how far we can make them go back. And now we make them make a choice. Are they going to put pressure on the ball? And then where's the pressure going to come from? Is it going to come from this player? Is it going to come from this player? Or come from this player? All right, say this player decides to slide in. Well, then we kind of arc ourselves back a little bit, or she goes ahead and steps and lets this player come in. All right, what we want to do is create a passing angle and off an angle off of that first defender. If we make an angle here, we can play the ball across her here, and now we've got that same scenario of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, V3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, V3, or you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, V1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and then we're trying to get this player higher, playing this player higher. All right, but this is a scenario we don't mind the player in the center midfield without pressure on her to be able to play the ball forward. Just to kind of move on a little bit, you can kind of see how the dominoes start to fall. If they try to pressure, we try and play in behind to break that line. All right, and if we are able to step in here, then maybe there's a pressure here, and then maybe we can break the line by playing into that target. We play into that target, we've broken this line. And then maybe we going up, and if she can turn, great. If she can't turn, maybe we're going up, back, and then maybe a third man as we play the third man running in, or an up back through as we call it. The ball gets played here, it goes up, it goes back, and then we play a through ball in as we break the line there. That's all just kind of watching the dominoes fall. Just another scenario here we can talk about. Maybe the ball is in B, as we call it, A, B, C, D, in the B sector here with our center backs, and they're in this situation where we're going that 4v, we're still going that 4-3-3 for both teams, and maybe we're pressing up a little bit higher and trying the same thing, pin some players back to create some space. You love the term high and wide, so these players are getting high and wide, and there's ways we can create overloads on the flanks. So we can do it a couple of different ways. The way we usually see it is you want these outsides to step in a little bit into channels 2 and 4 to create spaces for the outside backs to get into 1 and 5. So these players are getting this outside back area to try and to set up an overload here, to set up this 3, or maybe this player's sliding out, and we've got a 4v3 here, we've got a 4v3 here, and we're trying to separate this player to break that line. Once we break that line, then we're creating some overloads in 4 and 5 here, and in 1 and 2 here, if we can see that pretty clearly. And that's by pushing our outside backs. Outside backs push into 1 and 5. The outside forwards tuck into 4 and 3. Another way we could do this, try to create that overload, as we slide ourselves back in, is, so we're still in this 4-3-3, both kind of teams. Maybe we're doing it this way, that we're going to play our wingers way wide. Maybe these outside forwards are getting to these wide areas. And then if we do that, maybe this is the signal to push our attacking mids in. So maybe our attacking mids now are going to be the ones trying to push us in. If they're pushing us up high here, then we probably want to slide our outside backs, because remember, we don't really want our outside backs and our outside forwards in the same channels. So if the outside forward's in 5, we want our outside back to be in 4. All right, same thing here. Outside backs here in the outside forwards here in 1. Our outside back's going to tuck in here in 2. All right, this helps prevent a little bit of a counterattack movement too. But again, we've created kind of a setup that we can put a whole lot of pressure on the other team's back line. So a couple different ways we can create overloads as that ball gets played out here. Now we're in that overload, that 4v3 situation again. Or if we're able to get the ball, she pressures here, maybe we go back and play it over here, and now we've got that 4v3 on the outside as well, if we can kind of see that. This forward's got to be really good about whoa, she's falling off here. This forward's got to be real good about taking players, moving center backs around, try and play in between them, so they don't know which center back is marking. Most center backs want to either straight up mark or straight up play cover and play in the hole, as they say. But this player is really important at sliding across, getting into gaps, getting blind sides, so this player can't see the ball on her at the same time. Just little tricks of the trade here to create little overloads to help us break lines, to help us going forward. All right, so a whole lot of intel there. The longest Tactical Thursday yet, and that's what happens when you do it on a Friday. But hope you guys are doing great. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the questions and the follow-ups. That's been great. I love it when people appreciate kind of the information that we're putting out there and able to have a great discussion. That means a lot. So best to you guys. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk soon.